Yes, you could be sitting in the Hall of Fame and the world would know your name. Of course, when you hear the song, you know it's time for Personality Profile here on Joy 99.7 FM. I'm Louis Kwame Mr. Chama. You can call me Lexis Bill. When I take my seat like this, it means that I've got a very accomplished son of the land in the seat to talk to. So tell a friend to tune into Joy FM this evening, or if you're on Facebook, you can actually check out our live video and join this conversation. It's going to be an enthralling hour as I hang out with my guest here on Personality Profile. And today, like I said, I am speaking to a very hardworking son of the land who's an astute public administrator, is an accomplished statesman. He's actually held many public administrative positions in this country, worked in several capacities, led delegations to conferences, attended seminars within Ghana and beyond. In fact, he has over 25 years of experience in public service as a Minister of State, Member of Parliament, District Chief Executive. Yeah, I could actually list a tall list of things that he's done. He's easily one of the most decorated political figures within this country. Yes, and of course, within the NDC party. He actually contested his first election in 1996, longest serving national organizer of the NDC. For 9 years, he served as national organizer of NDC. He has actually served as well as district chief executive for Fantiakwa, my hometown, member of parliament as well, Fantiakwa constituency. He served as Eastern Regional Minister, Minister for Local Government and Rural Development. He served as board chairman of the Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority. That's from 2014 thereabouts to about 2017. He was actually the first national vice chairman of the NDC from 2014 to 2018. In 2018, he was elected the national chairman of the NDC. And look, when I talk about his educational accomplishments, it will take us all day. He has a master's in public administration and development from the University of Birmingham, an executive master's degree at GEMPA, 2 postgraduate degrees, including one from the University of Rotterdam in local economic development, a diploma in sustainable local economic development from Erasmus University in the Netherlands, and now he has a PhD in public administration, governance, and leadership from GEMPA. Look, apart from his life as a seasoned politician, he's the executive chairman of the Universal Multimedia Limited, Complex Farms and Ventures, and co-founder of Ofosu-Ampofo and a Japan Leadership and Mentoring Academy. Today, I spent time with the immediate past chairman of the NDC and currently a member of the steering committee for ex-president John Mahama's 2024 campaign, Honorable Dr. Chairman Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo. From Fantiakwa, from is it Begro and answer him my and answer Kukrantum
all over the place.
Chairman Akwaba.
Yeah, no.
I say Kofi.
Yeah, I made it over the
over
the weekend I was in Achim area.
Oh, I see.
Actually, this weekend I celebrated the 1 year anniversary of the passing of my late mother. So
oh, right. Okay, so you were
I was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I came back to Accra on Monday.
Oh, I see. I haven't been to Abompe in a while. In fact, this is a good reason for us to go back one of these days.
Yeah, Hemai,
those were your areas.
It will interest you to know that I led the extension of electricity to Abompe, Hemai.
Oh, really?
Jump money.
Wow.
And around that time, Adaswasi was not part of my jurisdiction.
Okay.
I managed to lobby for them to get electricity extended to them at Adaswasi.
Wow.
So
I didn't know this.
Yeah, that's true. By then, the late Fred Ohinekina was the Minister of Energy and a senior brother, of course. So I was able to lobby him to,
wow.
to know that in fact.
Yeah, yes. Look, on behalf of my grandmother, Mami Nyante Chua, we thank you for helping us. Just like giving this
we call them Bomujing.
Bomujing, yes, Bomujing. That's the school between Abompe and Junase. Yes. Oh wow, I'm excited.
So you know I'm a local boy.
Oh yeah, local boy. You actually brought very fond memories of the area. You know what I mean? And in recent times, I go there and I see some of the environmental devastation, and it's really sad.
It's sad.
Sad.
I have always been very sad anytime I get to the place because this was a sprawling cocoa growing area.
True.
a lot of farming activities over there. The environment has been degraded.
Yeah.
Galamsey has taken over the land. And the most saddest aspect of it is that no effort is being made at reclamation. And so you ask yourself, the Brim River has been polluted.
Oh, the Brim River is now so polluted, and nowadays.
The last time I checked, even the Ghana Water Company Limited was finding it extremely expensive to even, produce water there because of the higher turbidity level that is found in the water. So it's become very expensive for the treatment of the water to be done. And it's sad. It's sad that
really sad. I remember how in the late 80s and early 90s, I mean, Brim around that area,
fetch and drink.
Literally, there was a whole jam around the Brim during Christmas.
Yeah. Between Osino and that Brim, there's a beach.
Yes.
Brim Beach.
Yes.
Beach, where people will go and then make merry.
Yes, I remember all those times.
No, that
but
whole
not anymore.
Beautiful environment. That's a really beautiful environment for recreation. And for fun and other things cannot be found again. And I don't know what we are bequeathing to the generation unborn.
It's really
very,
sad.
very sad.
It's really sad.
All of us.
We hope things get better.
And see how we can help address those environmental challenges.
Absolutely. Anyway, there's so many pleasantries we need to go through. Like welcome back, because I think since May I've never met you or whatever it is.
I was away for close to 1 year.
For close to a year.
Yeah, for health reasons.
Yes.
And then the good Lord has been gracious to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy at all.
I can imagine.
Went through multiple back surgeries and
it was a back condition.
Yes, a lot of complications here and there. So I at least expected that I will go through those challenges.
Yeah.
But then at the end justifies the means. God has been so gracious to me. Now I can get up.
Yeah.
I can walk, albeit with some difficulty, but I'm still managing because according to my doctors, issues about the nerve takes a long time to heal. And
absolutely.
So I have to give myself some time. So I'm giving myself some time. And so I'm taking it a bit easy now.
And you didn't look like you were taking it easy even when you were away, because just months after you came back, you graduated with a PhD.
Yes, I started the course in 2016.
Okay.
Started the course in 2016. So while I was doing all this political work, I was still studying.
Wow.
Under very trying and difficult circumstances. And so I really, we do 3 years of classroom work.
Yeah.
After which you do your 2 seminar presentations. And when you're able to pass, then you are clear to do start your thesis.
Yeah.
And then, the thesis takes about close to 3 years. So by last year, I had completed the thesis.
Yeah.
I should have graduated last year, but around the same time that the graduation was to take place, I was on the doctor's theater,
right,
receiving the knife of the doctor.
Yeah.
So it has to be delayed, and so my thesis defense was done,
virtually.
Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Virtually from my hospital bed.
and I know that Gimpa lecturers, it wouldn't let them make it any easier.
No.
They are very stern.
It's something else.
Yeah.
That one is something for discussion in another day. The difficulties.
It's a whole chapter.
The frustrations that you have to go through.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it toughens you up.
Right.
And so, it wasn't easy that on our graduation, I was the only person who graduated from our school.
Okay.
School of Public Service.
You were the only person who graduated from the school of...
We were 5 PhD students who graduated. I was from the School of Public Service, and the remaining 4 were from the business school.
Wow.
So it shows you that it is not easy.
It is not easy,
a lot
absolutely.
of my colleagues who started, some graduated before me. There are still a backlog who are yet to.
Yeah.
So it is not easy at all to go through GIMPA. And a colleague of ours, out of the frustration, decided to deferred the course and went to University of Pretoria in South Africa, and he graduated about a year before we. In about 3 years, he had been able to go through it.
Wow!
But
so what, Gimpus was too rigorous for him?
Yeah, no. I mean, there were a few frustrations here and there.
Yeah.
And then in some other jurisdictions, the support services are stronger. Get support services that enable you to get access to, even getting professors to supervise PhD thesis is not easy.
Yeah.
You don't have enough professors, and you need to get about 3 to supervise your PhD. So how many professors do you have in GIMPA? And that is why there is always this difficulty. But I want to doff my hat for my professors, the lead professor, Professor Yajman Badu, Professor Agomo, and then Professor Lord Mauku, who were my supervisors.
Okay, okay.
They did a yeoman's job.
Yeah.
And supported me, encouraged me.
Yeah.
And my lead professor was telling me that you are a public figure, you are a politician, so we'll have to stretch you to ensure that when you get this degree and come out, you can justify it. And so they made sure that whatever was supposed to be done, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, taking the work back, going to correct it, changing topics. It was tough.
Oh, and you were brave.
Tough. Tough. In fact, I believe that is one of the reasons why my back even aggravated.
Now you're blaming them.
No, I'm not blaming GIMPA, but to write exams for 6 hours.
Yeah.
At this age,
yeah.
I'm fairly an old man. I mean, the way you see me,
you don't look it.
I've crossed 60 long.
But you don't look it. You go past for 45.
And so to go and sit, and around that time, in fact, it was during the COVID period. So you have a mask around your nose, and then kept in a room to write a paper for 6 hours.
Wow.
It's not easy.
I can imagine.
And so
I don't know what's it with you and the knack for education. Because look at you. You have what? 2 masters, 2 postgraduate degrees, training certificates, a gazillion of them, PhD. What is it? Is it you?
Well, I was always one of my heart desires was to reach the pinnacle as far as education is concerned. I had a very circuitous and tortuous roadmap towards my education because of where I started. I started purely as a technical student.
Oh, really?
And at a point in time, we got to a level where during those times you do your technician 1, technician 2, technician 3. Then the last you do the full technological certificate, and then you come to a terminal point. And so opportunities were not very open in that area.
Okay.
And so I had to find some other ways of and then around that time I love teaching, so I decided to go and teach. I was teaching at St. Paul's Technical School in Kukrentumi.
Okay.
Teaching mechanical engineering. And then decided to go and do a professional educational certificate program at the current Kumasi campus of University of Education, Winneba.
Right.
Around at that time, we call it KATTC, Kumasi Advanced Technical Teachers College. Right. We do a postgraduate certificate in, technical education. And so, after teaching for about 4 to 5 years, I was doing small politics alongside the teaching.
Oh, you started in school?
Yes, I started in school. I mean,
was it campus politics, or you mean mainstream?
I've done campus politics. I was SRC president at the second cycle, SRC president once at Accra Technical University. I was a JCR Deputy General Secretary for UMAT.
Okay.
We used to call it School of Mines. And then I was on NUCS And then, so I've done the student politics for some time.
And all this while in NDC?
No, those times, I mean, NDC, pre-NDC, because NDC had not been formed by then.
Right.
So pre-NDC, the revolutionary time, during the early part of the revolution, I was part of it. I was part of the student movement and so on and so forth. So it is through those activities, through the PDCs, CDRs and others, that when we metamorphose into constitutional rule and the NDC was formed, I became part of the formation of the NDC. I was a very young person by then, between 1991 and 1992, in the Eastern region, when the party idea was floated. And so the first congress that was organized in Cape Coast, where His Excellency the late J.J. Rawlings accepted to lead the party, I was there.
I see.
And so I was there when the party was formed.
So I'm surprised a little bit, because from your Kukurentumi background, which is predominantly NPP, how did you end up in NDC?
Well, as I said, I was inspired by the leadership of His Excellency J.J. Rawlings, and so I followed the revolution. And so it was a natural course that when a party was formed and the party was being led by Rawlings, I had no other option than to be part of it. So I was part of its formation, part of the people who circulated, forms for people to fill and so on. So that was how I. So when you look at the party, I can say that I am a product of the party who started from the very bottom, and came to the very pinnacle. So from the bottom, the very bottom of the branch, right down to the top as national chairman. So you realize that for perhaps going step by step, I think there are a few people in the party who had gone through the stages
that you have been through.
Both through the party and through the governmental level as well, because at the governmental level too, I've climbed every step
from DC,
to deputy minister to regional minister to local government minister, and then from the party from branch to the region, and then to national organizer for 9 years, vice chairman for 4 years, director of election for 4 years, and then eventually the national chairman for another 4 years. So I think I have accomplished. I have self-satisfaction that I have accomplished the most of what I wanted to do, even though I still think that
there's a lot more to do.
I'm still young and can still do a lot more.
Okay.
I always say that the greatest regret is that I led the party as national organizer for us to win the 2008 elections, and again contributed effectively towards 2012 elections. And so my desire was to become a chairman who once again bring the party back to office. And I thought that together with the team we did a lot of work. You look at the results and you come to conclusion that for the first time that a political party within a space of 4 years were able to increase their vote tally by over 2 million votes, and then sprang from 106 seats to 137 seats and created what we now call a hung parliament. But for one independent, there wouldn't have been a majority or a minority. And again, for the first time, an opposition party got a Speaker of Parliament. And all this was achieved under my leadership. So apart from the ultimate objective of leading the party to form a government, I think that I'm proud of.
You're proud of
what I've been able to do together with the team of people that I work with.
No, I see how you're excited about all these achievements and all. It should tell me that probably you are very disappointed that you weren't re-elected to become chairman again.
Well, it's a mix. I would have thought that. I thought the level that I brought the party to, the attraction that I brought into the party, the NDC has become one of the most attractive brands in terms of political parties in this country. And I think all is due to the kind of leadership, the kind of inclusivity, and, all hands on deck attitude. Previously, everybody thought that every lawyer was MPP, but we managed to engage our lawyers and form the NDC Lawyers Association. And at the last meeting before I left as national chairman, when they met at Aqua Safari, close to about 300 lawyers had enrolled and were part of the NDC Lawyers Group. I even initiated what we call the legal green, the lawyers at the law school. And by the time we were leaving, close to about 100 members of law students had also formed an association for the NDC. So we broke a lot of new grounds. Our professional forum group became very, very attractive. And today we can boast of professors, engineers, doctors. For this election, NDC, the number of doctors and lawyers who are contesting for the NDC for the 2024 elections will surprise you. It is all as a result of the brand that we try to bring, making the party more attractive, making the party more inclusive, ensuring that.
Is all that why you feel disappointed that you were not re-elected to continue as chairman?
Well, definitely. I indicated to you that my objective was to see the NDC form a government. And the fact that I couldn't achieve that one in my first term, I thought that the second term I could have achieved that one. And that would have satisfied me to the max. But at the end of the day...
but why do you think you were not voted to continue?
Well, you have to go and ask the delegates.
You're not sure? You didn't do any post-mortem to figure out what probably happened?
I have decided ever since the Congress, I've decided not to comment on this because I don't want the focus of the party to be on me.
Right.
Because I believe that no other single individual is bigger than the party. So,
even before the elections, you were quite silent on a lot of the allegations leveled against you and whatnot. Do you think your decision not to react to these allegations and whatnot probably led to you losing that chairmanship?
Well, how do you react to an allegation that somebody who was part of the formation of NDC and had risen through the rank to become a national chairman is all of a sudden being, labeled as MPP? How do you react? If you react to such allegation, I think that you will not be making any sense. So I thought that, look, if in people's wildest imagination would think that having worked for the party for all these years and brought the party to where it is, and we're almost cruising to power. And once we win power, and as a national chairman of the governing party, whatever that I need, it could be at my beck and call. How on earth could anybody think that I'll be in bed with MPP? But all of a sudden, my Achim lineage was brought into question. That now I'm an Achim, part of the Achim mafia. I am, in bed with the MPP. And to go and respond to this, I thought that would be to glorify those very spurious allegations. Again, I had a challenge because I had lost my mother around that time, and my mood was not one to go and be combative. I was in a somber mood, and my mother was very dear to me because I believe that I'm where I am today because of the sacrifices that she made, including selling her gold trinkets and other ornaments to pay my fees and other things. So when she passed on, it was a very difficult moment for me. And I thought that to pay, and my mother is a very peaceful person. She has a very peaceful disposition, very peaceful, you know. And so the advice she's always been giving me is to ensure that I do not unnecessarily become very quarrelsome and, you know, very combative in this things. Then again, another factor is that I was the chairman and leader of the party. And I thought that the buck stopped with me at that time. So for me to also descend into the arena of conflict and start trading jabs and returning, you know, accusation, counter-accusation and others, if the party collapses, it collapses on my shoulders. So I took the decision, like the biblical Solomon story, that the two women, one said that let's cut the child into two and take half and half. Another one says that, look, I love this child, I want the child to grow and the child can serve the society. So if she says she wants to take it less. So I took that position that I have toiled and labored for the NDC all these years. I've become its national chairman and leader. And at that time, if anything untoward happens to the party, the back will fall on me. I mean, everybody will say that it is during your tenure that this party collapsed on your head. Remember, around that time, we had also lost our talismanic founder of the party, His Excellency J.J. Rawlings. And so we were in a very trying, challenging transition moment. And so I put two and two together and I said, look, if I'll be able to steer this party to safer shores and even lose the election and keep the party strong, vibrant, and moving, I would have paid my dues. Today, I can say that without any fear of doubt, that I was a very successful national chairman, because in political party KPIs, we use numbers. So the numbers, you use numbers, the number of seats, the number of votes. Those are the factors that you can use to assess whether you perform well or you did not perform well.
Right.
So I have some sense of disappointment, because I thought that we're moving towards a certain trajectory, and given the opportunity, I could have moved the party to win the 2024 election.
Do you think the new leadership is capable of moving it to win the elections?
I think they are capable. I mean, you see, the party is made up of structures, and the structure of the current structure of the party virtually was put in place under my administration. The only structure that was not put in place by my administration is the national executives, because the structures of the party start from the branches. So when we lost the election in 2020 and then we started the reorganization, we reorganized the party from the branches to the wards to the constituency to the regions. All were done under my auspices. The only structure that had been put in place by the current administration is the national architecture. And so I believe that together with the team of people that we work with, we had already positioned the party in a very strong pole position to win an election. And so I have no doubt at all that the current leadership is capable of winning the election for. And again, I am still part of the leadership of the party.
Right.
I'm a member of the political committee, arguably one of the very powerful committees of the party. I am now a member of the National Steering Committee of the John Mahama 2024 campaign. And I believe that I continue to play a very pivotal role. I'm also, by virtue of my position as a former national chairman, I'm also a member of the Council of Elders of the party. So I'm still part and parcel of the structure of the party and its leadership, even though I'm not the one. I'm not the arrowhead.
You're not the arrowhead. I understand that. You're not new to disappointments, and I understand how.
No, I know victories and defeats. Yes. So I mean, it's like it's not a new thing.
Yes,
to me.
Yes, absolutely. I'll take you back to
the only aspect of it is that, you see, from 1992, when this party was organized, we haven't had such acrimonious environment where press conferences are organized and then accusations and insults and all those things. I have not seen it before. What I have observed over the years is that, and I've been part and parcel of it, is that you go to the delegates, you talk to the delegates converge at a conference, a congress, and the delegates take their decision. And so, when I contested in 2018, I contested of stalwarts like Honorable Betty Modris, Alaji Hudu, Ambassador Dan Abudakwi, the Honorable Danny Annan, and these were very formidable, very, very formidable candidates. Most of them very senior, very, very senior to me. There wasn't any trade-off, insults, allegations, attacks, very spurious allegations.
So why this time?
Allegation. And I felt that, and I still feel that we need to sanitize the campaign or environment when it comes to internal elections, because at the end of the day, it creates a lot of challenges. I know.
Do you think it created some cracks in the party?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you go into an election and close to about 2,000 to 3,000 plus people vote for you, and others vote for about 5,000 votes, so you definitely know that. But it takes leadership.
But in the lead up to this election, do you think those cracks have been sealed?
It takes leadership. When I traveled outside the country and I came back, and within a week decided to join the party work for the registration exercise and started moving and others, there are several people who called me and said, well, we haven't heard from you, so we don't know the direction that we are going. I said, look at me. I've stepped into the trenches and I'm working.
Right.
So I, by show of leadership, said that, look, let's put the past behind us and let's move forward and forge ahead. The most important thing is that the Ghanaians are looking up to the NDC as the best alternative to salvage this country from the current economic quagmire that we find ourselves, from the misgovernance of the MPP administration and the excruciating hardships that we are going through. Why should it be me? I mean, I don't want the focus to be on me. And so, as far as my misgivings and others are concerned, I use the appropriate channels to set certain records straight.
Okay.
Because
I was talking about some of the disappointments, and that's because way back from our hometown, Fantiakwa, you were a member of parliament for about 2 terms. Your third try, you lost.
I lost. I contested twice. I won twice. I lost twice.
You lost twice.
That's what I'm saying. That
and I want us to stay there, because I'm wondering why do you think you lost that election?
Well, the factors are varied. The factors are varied, and I will not be able to go through all those factors, but. I should say that in one of the elections, I lost because I was playing dual role. I was a national organizer of the party and at the same time a parliamentary candidate. And so there was a lot of responsibility of me at the national level.
Okay.
And at the same time, I had to go back and do constituency work. And at a point in time, I decided to concentrate more on the national, because I thought that the stakes were very high at the national level than the constituency level. So if we win the national election and I lose my constituency, there will still be something on the table for me.
Oh,
and so that accounted for that situation. So it was not easy that as a member of parliament and a city member of parliament, I was also a national organizer of a party, trying to organize both the party at the national level and organizing my constituency, and also going to parliament and represent them at the same time. It was a very difficult situation that I found myself.
I see. And you actually eventually left Fantiakwa.
Yes.
And came to Tema.
Yes.
Tema West.
Yes.
And I can say that probably that's one of the most painful elections if I were in your shoes.
Well, that one.
You remember that one?
That one was a close shave.
Very close shave.
And the MPP will be the first to tell you that they met. Sometimes that somebody told me and said, look, your opponent described you as a juggernaut, a political juggernaut, because the difference between NDC and MPP in Tema was very huge.
Yeah.
And for me, who was completely an outsider, because I had just come to stay in Tema West by virtue of my being a member of parliament, you know, in the second parliament, all of us were given accommodation at Sakumono. Most of us. So that is what brought me to Sakumono from January 1997, and I stayed there for some time. So in 2012, I realized that Tama West is a seat that NDC can win, but the gap was so wide. So when I took the decision that I want to contest, people felt that, look, are you crazy? But I said no. I always challenged myself because I thought that this is one of the challenges that I wanted to give myself. I've done rural politics for some time, so let me try the urban politics. And it will amaze you the kind of support that I garnered. To the extent that I lost the election by
about 900 votes.
By 850 votes.
It was 850?
850 votes.
Yeah, almost.
And even that one was as a result of the fact that, you know, that election experienced a lot of challenges with the biometric machines.
Okay.
And so in my stronghold in Nigeria, Kojo, Klagon, and others, a lot of people couldn't vote because the machine got broke down, and there was this announcement of a second day voting. And because around the 9 o'clock and 8 o'clock, I was still pushing and getting people to vote. We didn't even hear that there was this announcement of a second day voting. And we walked straight into the collation room, only to collate the results, lost by 850. And the next day, saw a lot of people in the queue in my stronghold coming because they said there's a second day voting. So it was painful.
What did that part teach you? Were there any lessons you learned?
Well, there were a few lessons, and those who are doing politics, if they will listen to me, they should listen to me very well. On election day, carry a power bank with you. This one is free consultancy.
We're taking notes.
Carry a power bank with you, because my phones, I was using about 2 phones, and the calls were coming from, and you know, I was then by a local government minister. I was part of the national campaign team. Everybody knew me as a former national organizer. So when people are facing challenges across the country, they call me. And so whilst I was even contesting, I was still solving problems across the country.
Right.
And all my phones went down.
Wow.
And so people wanted to communicate with me, telling me that, look, certain decisions have been taken by the EC. We want to call and inform you. And my phones were down. And so I didn't hear anything. And struggling to get the last minute votes and so on and so forth. So that's one of the lessons, is that you must always carry a power bank with you, especially on election day. Because when your phone goes off, a lot of things can go wrong.
Interesting.
You know, I take things in my stride because I believe in the hand of God on my life. So I always, however difficult and painful it is, I always say that the will of the Lord should always be done in my life.
Do you still want to be MP?
I am saying this because, you know, I always thank God, and I keep on asking myself that if I had won this chairmanship position, I don't know what would have happened to me in terms of my health. Because it has gotten to a very bad stage. But I would have stayed behind and said that, look, let me give myself some time and some time. By the time I traveled and I was tracked down, it was like you went to the hospital. I went to the hospital on Tuesday morning and returned after 1.5 months.
I see.
Which means that when I went to the hospital, you can't go back. Your situation is bad. You have to undergo through surgery. And not only one surgery, but later on some other things with all sorts of things. So, well, on hindsight, I said, look, perhaps the good Lord knows why all this thing happened to me.
But so would you still want to be? Would you still want to be member of parliament?
I don't want to be MP again.
You don't want to be MP again?
I keep on telling people that even if you create a vacant seat and ask me to go to parliament, I won't go.
Why?
I think I've done enough. Being MP is very stressful. And if you are the type who empathizes and want to help the people, you end up, even the food that is going into your mouth, you end up sharing it with others. I take a lot of joy because the position, the opportunities that were offered me, right? And I remember that I was one of the youngest MPs in Parliament in 1997. I entered Parliament just around the age 30. And so that opportunity of serving the people and supporting a lot of them. Recently, I think there's one young man who is now a professor, I think professor at KTSU, Kumasi Technical University. Smart, Professor Smart. He was a senior prefect at Begro Secondary School at one time. And I remember how I have to relocate Begro Secondary School from their old site to a new site, a building that has been in the bush since 1972, Busia era, and everybody had forgotten about it. And I went there and inspected and I realized that the integrity of the structure was very good for rehabilitation. And I put in a lot of effort, cleared the place, rehabilitated the place, got them some boreholes, created some places of convenience, went and psyched up the students, and I said, I'm moving you to your new site. By that time, they were in some glorified junior secondary school environment and moved them there. And today, when you get to Begro Senior High School, and when they got there, I also lobbied and got a lot more structures to be constructed for them, to the extent that a block has been named after me as Ofosu-Ampofo dormitory.
Nice.
They call themselves the Honorables. And so, I mean, I look at it and I say, this is an opportunity that was created, and I've supported a lot of people. A lot of people through the education, and some of them are in high places. I'll tell you a story. There was a time that when I was a regional minister, I needed to get admission for some students at Abri Girls. And you know, it's difficult, very competitive and difficult to get into Abri Girls. And I have some rural young ladies who had performed well. And I thought that, look, when these rural girls are able to enter this school, they can change their environment, they can change their communities. So I went there and the headmistress said, Mrs. Asempa was her name. He said, Honorable, if you help me to rehabilitate some 1 or 2 blocks here, which I want to turn into dormitories, I can take about 40 of the girls. Then immediately, I called the MC for some, and I said, look, let's get some money and quickly go and do. You know that as a result of that intervention, we were able to get about additional 40 girls from predominantly rural communities to go to Abri Girls. And some of them are in high places now. So, opportunity to serve. And then if you're able to impact positively on the lives of people, you always look back with nostalgia and say that, look, it was good that you got this opportunity.
Now, your service is with the steering committee of ex-President John Mahama's campaign. In 2 days, the NDC will launch its manifesto in Winneba. Last weekend, the NPP launched its manifesto, promising selfless leadership, both solutions for jobs and businesses. Before we talk about the NDCs coming this weekend, what do you make of Dr. Bawumia's submissions? Did it inspire and give the NDC confidence, or it rattled the NDC?
Well, yesterday I was talking to some people and I said, well, if my memory serves me right, Matthew 11:3. You know, there was a time that some people went to Jesus Christ and asked him, are you the Messiah, or we should expect another person? And the answer was that, go and tell them what you see. The cripple are walking, the blind can see, the captives are set free. And so if this is being done, then of course he should tell you that the Messiah has arrived. Now in the case of Dr. Bawumia, we were told that he was the economic Messiah and the economic whiz-kid. And so if you ask me that, do we expect any new thing from Dr. Bawumia, I'll give you the answer, and I will say that the economy is in shambles. The CD dollar depreciation has reached its crescendo. We haven't seen the CD depreciating to the dollar. Now it's nearly 16 Ghana cedis and still moving. Unemployment is about 14%. And then banks have collapsed. And, so I personally do not think that we expect any new messiah of bold solutions. Because if you have the bold solutions, those bold solutions should have been applied now for us to see. Dr. Bawumia was elected flag bearer and leader of the party for about a year ago. And my expectation is that the moment you become the flag bearer and leader, whatever propositions that you want, you have to let Ghanaians know that even look at my performance when I was made a leader and the flag bearer. If you celebrate birthday cakes with e-levy cake, and then you come and tell us that you are going to abolish e-levy. The inconsistency and the trust deficit. For me, that is the critical thing, Dr. Bawumia, is the trust deficit. Can you trust this man? The man who promised that I will bring this down, I will do this, then he turns around under your watch as the chairman of the economic management team. The CD has lost its value. So if you have bold solution, can't you apply those bold solutions to solve the economic situation that we find ourselves in? So I believe strongly that Dr. Bawumia talks a lot. He theorizing and says a lot of things, organizes a lot of lectures, and I've worked at the Bank of Ghana. I know where the money is, and when I come, I'll turn the situation around. There are a lot of Ghanaians today. It is very simple. And I couldn't agree with Togbe Afede when he said recently that on the day of the voting, put your hands in your pocket and see if your pocket touches something, then you decide the way you want to vote.
So this weekend, the NDC will be launching its manifesto as well.
Yes.
I think one of the policies that have been preferred is the 24-hour economy.
Yes.
How important is this to the economic transformation of this country?
Very, very, very critical. And I'll give you an example of an area where I worked. I worked as the board chairman of the GPHA. And so the new port that you see, the magnificent port, which is arguably one of the best ports in West Africa now, was constructed under my leadership as board chairman of GPHA. Sleepless nights of board meetings, sending delegation, negotiating and doing all these things led to the shortcutting in November 2016, October-November 2016. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama came and cut the sword, and the construction of the new port began. If you take the port, for instance, today and you go, there are a lot of ships that are docking. But the GPHA workers go to work and close 5 o'clock. Custom officers go and 5 o'clock. People are clearing. Somebody will leave Burkina Faso. Somebody will leave Bolga, Tamale, and come to clear his car. By 5 o'clock, custom officers have closed. And so somebody has to put the documents under the armpit and go and sleep and come the next day. Such a person, if the port operates under 24 hours, another person will take up the shift. And so by 5 o'clock, the next person takes the second shift and process your document for you. By 8 o'clock, you may be getting your vehicle and your goods out of the port. Then another batch will come and take over and work till the next day. So if we were to use 300 custom officers to work at the port one day, under 24 hours, one day, one shift, 24 hours, one shift, you are using 300 custom officers. Under the 24-hour 3 shifts, you are likely to use about 300 times 3. So you are increasing, job opportunity for people. Then the clearing agents who are working, they also have people working under them. And so if they are working 24 hours, it means that the more hands will be on deck to ensure that the work is carried out. Drivers who are carrying goods and services up and down will have to be double and triple. Security people who are there. So in the sum total under the 24-hour system, you are likely to triple the number of personnel you use. Again, it is going to increase productivity. And I have said that, and somebody was misquoting me. I say, countries where the people sleep more than they work, those countries cannot make progress. And that is typical of African countries. Go to the US.
We sleep too much.
We sleep too much. Go to the US. I mean, you go and visit somebody, sometimes you won't even see the person. Man and wife. One is going to work during the day, another one is coming, the children are going. So the economy is doubling. I mean, it's a working economy in China, in UK, in all those places. So I believe that we ought to start somewhere.
Okay. Beyond the 24-hour economy.
Yeah.
Beyond the 24-hour economy, what are we to expect from the GM camp?
Well, a lot, and I can tell you that our manifesto, our People's Manifesto, always responds very positively to the wishes and aspirations of the people of this country. And yesterday, the Council of Elders of the party were briefed by the Manifesto Committee, the highlights of the manifesto and some of the flagship policies and others were brought. But because they came to brief us, I don't think that I am in a position to do their work for them.
Right.
Because I will leave you, but assure you that the NDC manifesto that will be unveiled on Saturday will be a very superior document to that of the MPP, and will prefer solutions,
right?
Very, very practical solutions to some of the challenges that we are having. Mind you, we have His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who has been the former president of the Republic of Ghana. He has seen it all before. He's a man who is on top of his job. Today, when you call him for an interview, he can give you all the policies, the programs, and the projects that were executed under his watch without looking into any book. He knows exactly where he's taking this country to. And after the manifesto, Ghanaians will know that the NDC will be a better option,
right,
to entrust the future, the destiny of this country than the MPP. Because the MPP has been a bunch of disappointments.
Thank you so much.
Oh, we have ended.
Unfortunately, I mean, it's already an hour. So, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but unfortunately,
I'm not warming up.
You're not warming up. I'm sorry, but we ran out of time. But we are grateful that we got to spend time with you here on Personality Profile on Joy 99.7 FM. We wish you good luck.
So to conclude, I want to say that governance is a very serious business.
Yeah.
And Ghanaians must take 2024 elections a very serious business.
Right.
Because the direction the country is going, we ought to rescue the country.
Awesome.
And so I want to thank you for the opportunity.
Honorable Dr. Chairman Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, we are grateful.
Thank you.
God bless you so much. I'm Lexis Bill. It's 8 o'clock now, so you'd find out what's happening in news.